has been really fun, really good. I had a generally good week. I had a headache a lot of the week. I'm still getting used to the noise levels being so loud in the room. We have a couple of little friends in our classroom that are a little neurospicy but don't have a full diagnosis. And the reality of like daycares and preschools and things like that is there is not enough staff in a generalized daycare or preschool for our special ed kids. There's not enough staff. A lot of our special education kids or who are gonna need IEPs when they do go through K through 12, they really need that 1-on-1 or 2-on-1 or whatever. Like they need more of a 1-to-1 than we can offer within the preschool. Yes, there are 2 to 3 teachers in the room at any given time, but if I have to step out of the room with a kid for 5 minutes at a time, that's, it's not in ratio, it's things like that. So it's really trying to work on it, but I'm also trying to work with our kids who are neurospicy to make sure that they're also having fun. They're also having a good time. These parents pay a lot of money for these kids to go to the school, and we as educators need to make sure our kids are doing good in the school. Something I've noticed a lot that the teachers do is just kind of send them back and forth between the rooms. And I did not do that at all today. I pulled kids aside and we had conversations. We had conversations about what happened. If they could not tell me what happened, I just sat there and I just kind of told kids, like, you have to tell me what happened. So it's like, what happened? You tell me. Like, they told me, I saw what happened, but you tell me. And then when they tell me what happened, I'm like, okay, why? Because it's always, I hit them. That's always the reason, that's what happened, is something happened, kid got mad, kid hit. And so it's because these kids don't have words. They don't have the language to say, no, I don't like that. I sat down with our kids that are our big behavior kids from yesterday, and I sat them down today and I said, are we going to have a good day? Can we do this today? And you know what? My worst behavior kids were my best students today. They shine. They told other teachers, they're like, I'm having a good day. And I'm like, yes, you are. And I was like, that needs a reward. I don't care. Like, it doesn't need a sticker. We do not need to do stickers. But, like, it needs to be praised. It needs to say, you did this. I understand that we do not have the staff to work with these kids on a one-on-one level, but we do have the capacity as educators to work more closely with our kids and make those relationships. And honestly, if you're an educator and you say, well, I have 100 kids, how do I make those relationships? That's your job. That's my job as an educator. I make those relationships. I make sure those kids know I'm a trusted adult and I'm an adult they can go to if anything happens. My teaching philosophy is meet my students where they're at. If they're not having a good day, we can't learn. So if kids overstimulated, he's not gonna do good sitting in a chair with the noise still loud, still freaking out. He's gonna do good if we remove him from the situation, let him calm down and bring him back. That's how we're gonna help this kid. That's how we're gonna help most of these kids, is giving them a minute. It is Friday, January 30th. I haven't checked in, I think, in a little over a week. Last week I ended up having him a migraine and I was a little bit sick. I've worked pretty much all week this week with a lot of get to work, go home, just kind of get things done. I do have more homework to do. I have more things to do. Over the previous weekend, on Saturday, I think it was January 24th, another man was shot and killed. So last week, Friday, was the general strike in Minnesota, and it was kind of like no work, no school, don't buy anything, literally don't spend money, don't have the economy running. And a lot of the US and the world kind of stood in solidarity with Minnesota, which was really, really cool. And like the march was really cool. I took the day off, but I didn't go march because protesting is not safe for me. And then afterwards, on Saturday, like 9 o'clock in the morning, maybe 10 o'clock in the morning, ICE agents were in, like, over by V Resale, which you have seen me do a pop-up there. They were right outside of Glam Donuts, which is, like, right next door to V Resale. And they were terrorizing this woman and this man. His name's Alex Pretty. He, like, pulled her aside to save her from them. And he was like, "Are you okay?" And then I started beating him up. And then they pistol whipped him. They knocked him to the ground. They hit him in the head with the back end of the pistol. And then they unloaded the whole clip into him. So that is kind of what we've been dealing with. And then today, on January 30th, was supposed to be the national general strike. Kind of where Minnesota is calling on the rest of the U.S. to kind of do what we did last week. But today, I was not able to not go to work. I'm still within my first 90 days of work, and I've already called in twice, and I don't want to lose my job, and unfortunately that is how it is. And also, I work with little kids at like a preschool, like I'm a preschool teacher. So it is my job to show up for those kids, regardless of what's happening in the outside world. And being a teacher with all of this right now happening, it's really hard, especially with the kids I work with, because they're like 2 to 5. They don't know what's going on in the world right now fully, but they know to be scared, some of them. So there is that.